it's never about you. It might be your idea, and you might be the founder, but the only path to success is through building a team of people smarter than you around you. So I originally thought it's my idea, I'm the founder, I'm the creator, no one can do it better than me, whatever, all that crap. And the truth is, one day somebody said, you will never get anywhere until you surround yourself with people smarter than you. So that's the best advice I ever got was stop trying to build a company and spend more time building a team. They'll build the company.
Wonderful. You mentioned advices, and then you referred to the word even in the second question, mentor. So what importance do you give? I know you yourself is our mentor of great entrepreneurs. What importance and how do you see mentorship in
Sure, that's a great question, and I wish someone had told me that.
And right? Can you still be mentored when you're in your level? Let's say?
Okay, so absolutely, you never stop learning. In fact, if you think you're done learning, you're already irrelevant. You're over. You never ever stop learning, and you can always be mentored because there's still something you don't know how to do, you've never done, and somebody's done it successfully that you can learn from. So I think a mentor is critically important. The mistake that I made early on, first of all, I didn't have any mentors early. Then later, I thought a mentor was somebody that's just the only qualification I thought was they've done this. So I was building travel technology for travel and hospitality, right? That's what we did at Priceline, Booking, etc. That's what those companies did. I was building technology for travel. So for a mentor, I thought I just needed someone, maybe they worked for an airline or a hotel company. The lesson that I learned about picking a mentor is the best mentor is someone you want to be like when you grow up. So that's a holistic view. The person, when you look at somebody and not say he used to be the CEO of an airline, that's not the qualification for a mentor. When you look at somebody and say, man, someday I want to be just like him, that's who you pick. Because entrepreneurship, as we all know, is a difficult journey. It's a lonely journey, right? There's a lot of risk involved. You alienate people that are around you. If you're going to do all that stuff, it better be taking you somewhere you want to be. So when you pick up a mentor that you say, I want to wind up where she is someday, that's how you select your mentor. Find somebody you want to be like someday. I don't care how old you are. Somebody you want to be like when you grow up, and reach out to that person to be your mentor. They may have no knowledge of the industry you're in, but they have knowledge of how to make you an effective leader, a better communicator, a good person, lead a good life. All that stuff's way more important than did they work for you.
How do you contact mentors? I know there's a story. I really like the pretty girl high school story. I know you. So how can young entrepreneurs get in contact?
Sure. I'm glad you said that. Well, I'll explain. I'll explain what that story is, and that is part of the quote that I said. Get your advice from. Don't get your advice from proximity. Get it from relevance. But I thought of that one day because I was sitting in a football stadium, American football. But in any given, I started to wonder this afterwards. So I'm sitting in this football stadium in one little town, and on the team in American football, the head person's the quarterback, right? And the quarterback is playing well. And everybody around me is saying he's going to go pro. He's going to be a professional football player. And then they have dancers and cheerleaders. And one girl's, by definition, there's always a prettiest girl at that event. And everyone's saying she's going to be a famous movie star. And I'm sitting there and I was thinking, and then I went and looked it up. Right now, on a Friday night in the United States, there are 17,000 high schools. So that means, divided by 2, right, there's like 9,000 games going on any Friday night. So in 9,000 stadiums, someone's the prettiest girl and someone's the best athlete. And all the people are saying he's going to be pro and she's going to be a movie star. And yet none of those people have any qualification to say that. Do you own a professional football team? Are you a scout? No. So how do you know they're going to make it? In the same way, that girl, none of these people are a talent agent, right, in Hollywood. That's when I started to think about a mentor, right? And I need somebody that's had the career path that I want to have, that's been around that. If I want advice on playing football, I want advice from someone who played football professionally. So anyway, the mentor, I mean, you personally, Jorge, are a LinkedIn genius. You know how to use it. You know how to work it. You've created so much value and following. You use LinkedIn really well. I know that people learn from you, and people that are listening, if you don't know that, they should learn from you the way you do LinkedIn. But that's by far the best tool out there. People are on LinkedIn because they want to do business and they want to be contacted. So going through LinkedIn reading about people, and finding someone that you say, man, I want to be like that person one day. That's how you find your mentor. Go out and reach out, cold reach, and tell people, I really admire you and I would love to talk to you someday. Most people won't respond, somebody will.
What are the key qualities you would envision into that figure of great leader or mentor for you personally? What are the qualities that every successful or admiring has?
There's a few. The first one, the biggest one, is humility. When people think they know everything and they're smarter than everyone, you can't learn from them, and they stop learning. So the first one is humility, right? I like working with people that say, they might have been immensely successful, right? But they're still saying, can you teach me something? Can I grow more? Can I learn more? So humility, pay attention to that. If somebody, we were listening to a speaker earlier today, I will not mention the name, that came across like he already knows everything and he's already smarter than everyone. And you know what happens to me? I just tune that out. I'm already not interested in listening. Somebody with the humility to know that you never stop growing and you never stop learning, and I don't know everything. That's a big characteristic. So you want your mentor to be open-minded too, not the one, because some people think I need to find a mentor that already knows everything. Nobody does, right? The second one I would say is empathy, is people with listening skills. And by the way, I didn't know that till I failed. One of the companies I launched, we were trying to sell products to stay-at-home moms, to housewives at the time. Neither me nor none of my employees were stay-at-home moms. None of them were housewives. And we launched a product, and no mom at all liked the product. And later, we launched an early internet company. It was I won't say the name of it. I don't want to embarrass the other people, but we thought that instead of going to the mall, a mom, instead of packing up all the kids, could use her computer to order something on this brand new thing called the internet. And here's what happened in real life. No one bought anything. The company failed, and I had to tell the investors and the employees, I have to let you all go home. We're done with this shopping company. But I reached out to some of the people because you could see them on the website. So this is a true story, Jorge. This one mom replied, and I said, I saw you looking at my products, but you didn't buy anything. And I said, why not? I said, the company failed. And this is where the empathy, the listening skills came in. And she said to me, well, your products are good. I wanted to buy the sweater, but I'm not going to type my credit card into your computer. So this is what she said. So you and your nerd friends can buy more computers. I said, okay, ma'am, that's fine, but we can't see your credit card. She said, of course you can. I'm typing it on your website. And I said, no, we use something called RSA 128-bit encryption. And this woman said, sorry, man, I only speak English. And I said, I'm speaking English. And she said, I don't know what that is. And I said, you don't know what encryption is? Because all my friends and everybody I know what it means to encrypt something. And she said, I said, you don't know what encryption is? And this woman said to me, unless that's the way Egyptians bury their dead.
Well, the case right now is an Navajo citizen sitting in my custody.
And so I went back.
I'll be back this afternoon.
And I realized I'm a bad listener. I'm telling people what to do, but I'm not listening. So empathy. How well do you listen to the world around you? What I started doing on that, when I was a CEO, I would tell people, I'm going on a listening tour. I'm going to go talk to 50 or 100 moms. And if they don't even know what encryption is, I got a problem. And I need to figure out how to solve it.
That's crazy. And in parenthesis, I think this is real life case scenario. I came here sweating, all nervous, and you started asking me questions about myself when I'm like trying to gather your information. So it's just like the constant curiosity, humility. Like it's you truly have it in you.
Well, thank you very much.
I really appreciate it.
Those are the things I've learned along the way.
That's great. Well, before I wanted also to talk a little bit more about, matter of fact, I want to talk about the you mentioned lots of key figures like Nolan from Atari, Steve Wozniak, Mark Randolph, like friends of yours who also changed the world like yourself. What importance do you give to networking? And what importance do you give to like, for example, Silicon Valley has something special that's going on where lots of founders that you even mentioned come from that Bay Area. So do you find it important also that location where you're
Okay, that's a great question. No, location doesn't matter anymore. And it turns out it never did, but the reason it worked for Silicon Valley, because they had an ecosystem that no one else had. It turns out you can build that ecosystem. I'll explain. you could build that ecosystem anywhere. It wasn't, they didn't own it, but no one else was doing it. So that ecosystem has a couple of elements in it that are, to answer your question. And so the short answer is networking is critically important. But here's why. Every problem you're trying to solve in business, someone probably has already done that. Someone knows something you don't. Somebody can help you. So if you're sitting in your office alone or with 3 people trying to solve problems, and meanwhile, someone's already done that one, right? But why would they help you, right? You say to yourself, well, why would they tell me how to do that and help me? The answer is because you probably have done something they're struggling with. So what Silicon Valley did, it wasn't a location. They created something that people didn't realize. They socialized business. Here's something interesting. If you go into a restaurant in Silicon Valley, back in the day especially, you and I would come in, you and I are about to have a meeting, it's just the 2 of us, and I'd say table for 2. They'd put us at a table with 8 other people, a table for 10. And the first time I said, it's just 2 of us. And they're like, you're right, you're sitting here. And I'm like, there's all these other people at the table. And Silicon Valley, like, that's right, because we all want to hear each other's ideas. So they socialize business. In Silicon Valley, even the restaurants, you all sit together, everybody talks, and you say, wait a minute, you have that problem? I can fix that. And then you say to me, okay, what can I do for you? And I say, well, I don't know how to do this. And you say, oh, I know him, and he can do that. And then he says, well, if she'll help me with this, that's what worked. They understood the attitude was that a rising tide lifts all boats. Everybody else didn't get that. So the network effect of meeting all these people and sharing and helping each other, in Silicon Valley, it was everybody's goal for everybody to win. And that's what made it work, because people interact so much there. I literally did something, one of the times I was there, everybody wanted to meet with me, and I didn't have any time left. And so I met as many as I could. But the last meal, all I had left was a dinner, and there were 5 different entrepreneurs or startups that wanted to meet. So I sent a note to all 5 of them, the same note. I said, I only have 1 time slot left, it's dinner. You can all have it. And all 5 of them, without hesitation, came to the same dinner, and they're all at the same table for 10. And they're all like sharing with each other and saying, I can help you with that. The network is critically important for being able to help you at times where you're stuck on something and you need to learn something.
Totally. Now, talking on a concept of ambition, so you've had on your name, you've founded companies that literally have changed the world and are global, no? When you started those ventures, what was that motivated you? Is it still the same thing that keeps on motivating you to keep doing things, which we'll touch later? And how was your ambition? Like, was it I want to change the world, or how?
So yeah, you're right. Impact matters, right? Part of the way I attracted talent in early days, it was by saying, wouldn't you like to look at an industry one day and it's completely different because of your work, the things that you did? We created so one of the things I was building way before there was a Priceline.com or Expedia or Booking or any of those things was these check-in kiosks that are in the airports when you go and you check in. I was telling the team then, wouldn't you like to walk into an airport and no one's in line anymore? They're just walking up to kiosk and checking in, and you can nod and say, you're welcome, right? Because you build. I still get people from us building the early ones that will take a picture of themselves at a kiosk with a boarding pass, and they'll just text me, thanks, because we helped pioneer that. So when we were doing that, we've always talked about impact. You really want to look back at your life and say, I helped make something better somewhere. Impact is a big deal. And the rock stars in an industry, they don't want just a paycheck. They want to look back and go, they've made an impact. So that does matter. It's a win for everybody. And impact still matters to me, to be able to look back and say, did we do anything that mattered? Did we make something better for somebody else?
How do you see present generations, young generations of entrepreneurs in Globo in general, and with that you just referred, us seeking more impact, or what motivates us?
So, you see what I'm really excited about with this generation is the focus on 2 things: impact and experience. My generation, it was title and salary. Oh wait, you're a vice president? That makes you great, right? Your generation, there's am I having any impact? Am I making any difference in the world? But you also care about experiences, right? This generation wants to grow. They want to learn. They don't just want a job, right? They actually want an experience in addition. And I think that is phenomenal. We did this crazy experiment So I'm part of a couple of nonprofits, and we can touch on that later if we have time. But one of them is called the Unreasonable Group, and we were trying to kind of prove a point that the entrepreneurial spirit are people that want to have an impact and want to make things better. So we actually chartered a ship that sailed around the world full of entrepreneurs, showing entrepreneurs the way the world's real problems and challenging them to fix it. And it was a success, meaning we proved the point that people like you that said, well, I didn't know that was a problem, saw the problem and said, I'm going to design a solution and I'm going to make it better.
I want to go back a little on for those entrepreneurs that are starting not advice, but maybe the routine mistakes that most entrepreneurs
Sure.
make and how can they avoid them?
I obviously work with thousands of startups all over the world now, so I see them all, I hear them all, and I lived them all. We made every mistake you can make 3 times myself along the way. The first rookie mistake is being blinded by your own brilliance. You think it's a great idea,
What? 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 Oh, well, now. Still doing it? Oh, well, now. Still doing it? Okay. Looks like I'm loaded or something. Oh, well, now. Still doing it? Okay. Looks like I'm loaded or something. Oh, well, now. Still doing it? Okay.
expecting to stay at the mom to buy it, and she has no idea what you're talking about. So that's the first one. I hear these people, I got this great idea. And I'm thinking, who thinks it's great? You do, your mom does, right? Your brother does. Who thinks it's great? And then when I say, who are you going to sell it to? And they'll say, I'll make up an example, schools. And I'm like, okay, can you go get me some school administrators to tell me it's great? And they're like, well, they haven't seen it yet. I said, but you haven't even talked to them? Being blinded by your own brilliance is the first mistake. You're excited about your idea. People around you, remember what I said, proximity, not relevance, are telling you it's a good idea, and not one of them is the person you expect to buy this. So stop listening to your opinion and go talk to that mom or that school administrator that you want. Probably a second rookie mistake we touched on a little bit is believing that you can wear 7 hats. Because at the beginning, you have to. You're paying the bills, you're doing the marketing, you're building the product, you're answering the phone. So all of a sudden, you're good at customer service, finance, marketing, operations. No, you're not. You're actually only good at one thing. So figuring out the one thing you have a strength in and then getting out of the way and letting other people do the other things, that's the mistake. People say, they say, look, man, I wear 6 hats and it's going well. And I was like, okay, that's bad news, right? The fact that it's going well is actually a problem because you think you're good at stuff that you're actually not. Those are rookie mistakes people make. And in the end, that whole product market fit thing, right? Going and talking to those moms before you build them a product ensures product, but I don't see that. People build a product, then they look the mistake I made. They take it out and say, how come no moms like this? And the mom's like, if you had told me you were building that, I would have told you not to waste your time. I was like, I wish I talked to you first.
What would be the key ingredients now to build a global brand and also like to get those perhaps 1,000 clients?
Right.
Does it change or are they different?
It does change, yeah.
Okay.
Early on, I'll answer those separately. Early on, to get those early clients, you've got to do something special for them, right? You don't treat your initial clients. We always call them reference clients. The reason why is they're the ones everyone's going to go to for a reference. It's a social media world. So in the beginning, you don't need lots of clients. That's another mistake companies make. They're like, we need 10,000 clients. I said, no, you need 1,000 clients. 10,000 clients that give you a 5 out of 10 net promoter score, right, is not helpful. 1,000 clients that give you a 9.8 launches a business. That's a mistake. They focus on quantity of clients early on. Early on, you don't need quantity, you need quality. You need 9.8 out of 10 because it's a social media world and everybody's going to go out there and kind of look. So that's part of the brand is you need virality, right? We live in the social media world where people don't say, they don't look at your ad and say, I have to buy this product. They call their friends and say, what product do you use? And they look at social media and they say, man, all my friends love this. I'm going to do that. So in that validating world, your brand has to be this viral thing that happens because the people that first encounter you can't stop talking about you and absolutely love you. And the other part of brand is that brands need to be simple and resonant, right? Don't tell a complicated story. Tell a really simple story. All the best brands were just really simple message of why do I care about you? What do you do for me? What is the simple message? I learned that, by the way, from Fred Smith, the founder of FedEx, because I had a chance to spend some time with him. And his brand was this at the beginning. It said when it absolutely positively has to be there overnight. That's all he said. He didn't talk about the cost or the convenience of finding a FedEx. All he said was, if you absolutely need this package delivered overnight, call me. Super simple. His brand resonated because it wasn't complicated. Simple wins.
Wow. That's crazy. Talking about hats, I wanted to ask, how do you balance your role as CEO, film producer, author, entrepreneur, motivational speaker? How do you balance this hats?
All right, so I'm glad you asked that because that's another hard-learned lesson. And the answer is, and part of this I learned from Richard Branson at Virgin. And because I asked Richard that once, you have all these companies, and he turned to me and he said, not at once. And so all those things that I've done were, I'm not a parallel entrepreneur, I'm a serial entrepreneur, okay? Each of those things, when I was music stuff, there was a point when we were building the first travel company, where if you had called me and said, hey, I want to show you this idea,